RadioSRQ.com. This is Ann Corcoran. I am at the Sarasota Film Festival, and I am just talking to one exciting filmmaker after another. But one of my favorite things to do is to talk about Sarasota filmmakers. And I have two with me today. One of them is Steve Tatone, and the other is Jay White, and their film is Beautiful Noise. And if you're from Sarasota, you certainly have heard about it, but I suspect it's getting a lot of commotion and attention from other people as well. Welcome to the program today.
Thank you, Ann.
Now, tell me a little bit about what Beautiful Noise is about.
Beautiful Noise is a musical drama, a full-length feature film. It's the first of a trilogy, quite frankly. We're filming the prequel and the sequel right here on the Suncoast later this year. And the movie and the three films together deal specifically with themes such as inspiration and redemption, probably is the best way and the simplest way to explain it. It's driven by some original songs and lyrics that are performed beautifully by an ensemble cast. It's the story that, the vehicle I used writing it was the story of an aging, washed-up icon from the 60s, rock star, who kind of turned away from his life and his music for various reasons, ends up out here in the backwoods of Mayaca, of all places, and just wants to be left alone. Changes his name, just hangs out at the local bar and just doesn't want anybody messing with him. After a very, lengthy career, 10, 12-year career back in the 60s and early 70s. Flash forward to 35 years later, and we have a young, hippy-dippy, bohemian-type young singer who decides, after finding some of his lost songs that were never released, that if she can just get the okay from this guy, if she can find this reclusive hermit, that she can get his okay to record those songs, it's going to make her a star. So the movie takes off from there, her journey to find this guy and what happens once she does. But I will tell you that when all that happens, by the midpoint in the movie, as the road to stardom is paved with a lot of different surprises and twists and turns, and we certainly have them in this film. And I'm just so happy and grateful that, with the exception of Jay, who works out of Las Vegas, and one of our other lead actresses, Kimber Cleveland, who is based in Nashville, everybody else from behind and in front of the cameras were based and live right here in the Sarasota area. And we were able to pull off a very high-quality, low-budget film, a musical to boot, that we think has an emotional appeal. It's got a PG-13 edge to it, Ann, but it's, people can bring their 8-year-old kids or their 88-year-old, parents to this thing, and I think they'll find a very entertaining and perhaps even emotional experience from a movie that has a lot of heart and soul in it.
That just really sums it up, and it sounds so great, and I haven't even seen it. But now, Jay, tell me about your character. You're in the cast.
Yes, I am the crusty old codger that moves out to Mayaca and just wants to be left alone, as he said. It was fun to portray this particular individual.
A character much older than yourself.
Well, a little bit older than me, and with some makeup and hair dye and a scruffy beard, made me look a little bit older even. Yeah, so being a singer by trade, I've been singing for the last 25 years in Las Vegas. I actually perform as Neil Diamond, and so I've been doing that for the most part.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, without even hearing you, I could even see just a little. Maybe it's not just the resemblance, but the way you carry yourself.
Okay. It's the vibe, man. He's got that diamond vibe.
Yeah.
He has. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. And so actually Neil and I have met a couple of times, which was very nice. But getting back to the film, I did some acting many years ago. Before I started performing as Neil Diamond, it was probably as many as 30 years ago I did acting. I was doing stage and theater acting. And then I got the opportunity to perform as Neil Diamond, and I kind of just kept going in that direction. And then when Steve came along and asked me to portray this character for the movie, I questioned whether or not I'd remember how to act again, how to do that. And he said, "What are you talking about? You've been acting for 25 years. It's just been one role. So all you have to do is translate that over to this other character," which I did. And we're very, very pleased with the results. Again, this is our first time out. I got to actually be in a film a couple of years ago called Frost Nixon. The interviews that David Frost did with Richard Nixon, and in one scene they needed somebody to portray Neil Diamond from 1977, and so I got the part for that. I got to be in that particular scene with Ron Howard.
I've seen that.
The Ron Howard film, yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, so it was fun doing that.
So you've worked with Ron Howard and
now Steve Tatone. So I've moved up one more notch above Ron Howard.
Yes, there you go.
and it's worked out pretty well, yeah.
Okay. Now, what about the music and the original songs? Tell me about where they come from. How did that?
I will tell you, the initial script was written. Beautiful Noise. I'm a Diamond head, as Jay is, so the inspiration of this movie comes from Mr. Diamond's lyrics and songs, but this story is completely fictional. It has nothing to do with Neil's life and journey. But the original script I used to write the core of the story, I used obscure Neil Diamond songs to help lead me through, realizing quickly that when I finished the draft that we couldn't afford, licensing Neil's songs. I immediately put a search out for original material and found 90% of it within 2 weeks coming from cast members like Kimber Cleveland and her husband Doug Frazier. I just kind of casually asked. I told them, we're going to cast out and look for some songs. If you have anything you think might work, just let me know. Well, I was deluged with their complete canon of songs, and miraculously, and I'm telling you, any film that can get made is a miracle in today's day and age, but it was a miraculous scenario to where I got 17 original songs within 2 weeks and did not have to change. Actually, they fit better than Neil's songs, and I did not have to change one line of my script. They just fit like a glove. And then to cap it all off, I sent the script to Joni Mitchell, the legend, and asked, and she agreed to literally let us use her classic "Free Man in Paris," which Jay sings wonderfully in the song. It bookends the music, or in the movie, I should say. That beautiful song. So we've got 17 originals and "Free Man in Paris" from Joni Mitchell, and it's just, I'm telling you, the price of admission alone just to listen to the songs, even if you didn't like the story, would be well worth the effort. But fortunately, people are really responding to the story and the themes, and especially the music. The soundtrack alone is just right off the charts.
There's one song in particular that Danielle and I, she's the female lead in the movie, she plays Des, and she and I do a duet that is probably, honestly, as good as this song was written. The writer, Doug Frazier, wrote this song. As good as it is, I swear it's every bit as good a quality as what Neil and Barbara did when they sang "You Don't Bring Me Flowers" together, because this is a beautifully well-crafted emotional ballad about what this guy is going through in his life and the woman that comes along, and so it's a wonderful piece of music.
And I should mention that Danielle White, the Booker High School grad,
I was just going to ask you
is just sensational in this movie, and that's the character. Her character is Des, and that's the lead female character that Jay kind of responds off of. And the singing of this young woman and her acting in this film, I'm literally rushing to make sure we go into pre-production on the prequel and sequel this summer, because once Hollywood sees what Danielle's done in this film, not to mention Jay and Kimber and some of the other cast members, Danielle's explosive performance is going to send her, take her as far as she wants to go in big studio films. She's sensational. I'm so proud that she's from this area, and just another great example of the kind of people both in front of and behind the camera that's right here in our backyard.
How did you find her?
She, the Film Commission, Jeannie Corcoran's operation, put out a casting call for me, notice, and some teacher of hers at Booker High School got a hold of it and just mentioned it to Danielle. She called me. She was the first person I cast in this movie, and I got to tell you, I can't even, if they could offer me any other actress in Hollywood today, Taylor Swift on through any of them, I cannot envision this movie without Danielle White in the lead, and I will not do the prequel or sequel without her. And fortunately, I won't have to, because she's already said she's in.
Yeah.
So we've got Jay coming back and Danielle to reprise their roles, albeit 15 years earlier in the story for the prequel, and 15 years later where this film leaves off. So we've got, at the end of the day, a trilogy of films about Beautiful Noise and about inspiration and redemption and love and hope and all the themes that I think happen to cross people's lives as we all climb our mountains and go through the peaks and valleys of life. It's what the movie's about, and I think it's just entertaining as heck.
Well, it's of course getting a lot of press here in Sarasota, but how's it being? How are you doing with the distribution? This is an independent. This is an indie film.
Well, this is the very first stop on the worldwide film festival tour that we're taking. So we weren't sure we were even going to be lucky enough to get accepted into this film festival, and not, much less being given 6 screenings. They've never done this before in the history of the film festival. And here tonight, before our premiere, all 6 shows, I understand, are sold out. And people haven't even seen the film yet, but the buzz about it and the clips from the website, which is beautifulnoisethemovie.com, we're getting worldwide attention. We're going to Dublin, Ireland, and the UK in June to showcase the film. And there's also a concert element attached to the film. Jay and Danielle and Kimber and other cast members, literally, we put together, they sing songs from the film live in concert for the first half, and then Jay comes out after intermission and does his entire Neil Diamond show.
Oh, wow.
So we kind of,
really
we have a power-packed package of entertainment for folks with the film leading the way, and then we thought it would be an interesting marketing device to actually put the concert tour together, because I have such incredible performers like Jay and Danielle leading the charge.
Yeah, well, when you were telling me about the music, and I was thinking, okay, so have you already recorded that separately? Do you have that out already, selling as CDs?
We do. This is I'm very happy you mentioned that. While people will be able to buy the soundtrack off our website, again, beautifulnoisethemovie.com, we are, this weekend, we are showcasing the release of the CD before and after every show.
That's 6 shows.
And so 6 shows, and I don't be surprised if this album gets on the charts faster than the movie gets traction. And but it is our aim to do a distribution deal, and fortunately, because it's such a high quality, low budget film, we don't need a theatrical release for this film and this series of films to be financially successful. We live in a digital age. If we opted to release the film the way Ed Burns, that wonderful filmmaker in New York, does, through all the video on demand channels and the Netflixes of the world and the iTunes, you can do that and reach an audience very quickly. But we're getting buzz from some Hollywood circles that think we might have a film very much like the Academy Award winning Once from a few years back, and just to be mentioned, our film to be mentioned in the same sentence with that wonderful movie that won an Academy Award for the Best Original Song 4 years ago or so. It's quite an honor, and it's a humbling experience. But
well, what I'm thinking also is Sundance. That's what this was about. Sundance was about finding good films made by independent filmmakers in the beginning. And is there still a shot at getting many independent films in Sundance?
Well, Sundance takes place the first of the year, and yes, Sundance is one of probably 45 film festivals worldwide that we are submitting the film to. We've already been accepted to several, but there's like the big 8 or 10 that everybody shoots for. And it'll be an interesting journey for us to see how we're embraced outside of our own market. I have a feeling that because of the nature of the story and the incredible performances of heretofore no-name stars, they won't be no-name stars after this summer, believe me, when people see this film. I really believe this film has a shot to compete internationally, if for no other reason, just the strength of the music and the performances that they give.
Well, and it also reminds me of somebody else that I interviewed several years ago here, Jeremy Renner. When he was in a movie he played a neo-Nazi, and he met this African American woman in an insane asylum, and people were saying to me, "What are you interviewing? What is this movie you're even interested in?"
Right.
But I interviewed them, and then later on, Jeremy's been nominated for an Academy Award
the Hurt
Best
Locker.
Actor for The Hurt Locker, and a Best Best Supporting Actor this last time.
That's
around.
right.
And so sometimes there's talent in hidden gems. Sometimes there's the hidden gem that gets seen and move up. And so I'm hoping to see that happen to you guys.
Yeah. We feel the same way, notwithstanding the performances, but I'll be in a complete state of shock if Kimber Cleveland isn't nominated. One of her songs, of the 17, 18 songs in the film, Kimber's probably responsible for 10 or 11 of them. And she is a prolific songwriter. She is living the life of her character in real life. She's just intensely and dedicating herself to the local club scene. She should have been a star by now. I mean, it's one of those crazy things, and Jay can speak of this more than I can with regard to his experience on the stage and how many people he sees come and go, and it's really a question of getting seen by the right people at the right time. Kimber Cleveland is one of the best songwriters in America, and nobody knows about her yet, and hopefully this film will propel her. Wouldn't you say, Jay?
Yeah, well, I agree absolutely. Both she and her husband have written just some wonderful material, and if people don't stand up and notice, or like you said, we'll both be pretty shocked.
Yeah. And so when you first started with this material, did you just feel that it was really suited to you? Did you have to change much about the singing part? We talked about the acting and getting back into acting, which you, in a way, already were doing. But how about the music? Did you feel like it just flowed for you easily?
Especially the duet that she and I do called Lonely Hearts. That more than any of the other songs. When I started singing that, I got the lyrics in front of me on paper, and I'm in the studio recording it, and the music is playing, and I start singing it, and I just felt like this just flowed right out of me with absolutely no trouble whatsoever. I've got about 3 or 4 other songs in the film as well that I sang that I really enjoyed and that were really good, but that one in particular I just thought was very special.
Almost like it was written for you.
Honestly, it felt that way, yes.
That has to be a wonderful feeling for a performer, to get a piece that makes them feel that way, and then what? Then all the rest comes probably just as easily once you love that one piece.
Right, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anything else I left out?
Just thank you very much, and thank you to the Sarasota Film Festival for giving us a chance to find an audience, and for really helping us set box office records here. 6 sellouts. It's more than I ever imagined, and we're truly humbled by the experience and grateful.
Okay. Thank you, guys. This is Ann Corcoran on RadioSRQ.com, and I have been talking with Steve Tatone and Jay White.
Yeah,